Smiling faces.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Peace, y'all.
My bad. My bad. My bad. I'm trying to send you this joint right
Okay, you do that, and I'm gonna see if this paper is right here.
now. Excuse me. How's everybody feeling out there in Legoland? What's popping? How y'all making things work? There's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now. I'm clear on that. Let me look at my. I ain't even get a chance to check this joint. I ain't put one of these joints on in a minute. You know what I mean? I still know how to throw this thing together. Little shump shump. Make it do what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Make it move who it's supposed to move. These things don't move me though. It really don't. It don't move in. Ain't about nothing to me.
Hmm.
I'm always talking to myself like I'm in the mirror, fixing this little thing. You know, uniform
Derek.
pieces of uniform. Feeling like a Lego man. Got to put
I
on the
like your hat, Lego man.
Mr. Potato outfit. But see, that's me, right? Well, salute to the General Tommy Guns, 3B. Salute. That's him in terms of the concept and design, but that's me. Like that's the lifestyle. But we talking about a couple things tonight. We've spoken about a few things in the past episodes. Made me think, maybe I should go ahead and throw it on real quick. Something a little bit more official, as they might say. Some might say I might not be. I'm not this but I'm just saying. I know that I still know how to do that though. Mel, you see what I'm saying? I know how to throw them things on there real quick, and I know how to put one of them together real quick.
Look, or whatever.
A little something, you know what I mean?
You dig?
I was checking the closet. I don't own a white button-up shirt no more. I don't even wear these things for real. Keep it all the way loud.
I think that's okay. I think that in the world of button up, white is super fucking basic, anyways. And you're just not a basic person, like, so you don't do basic shit. So you ain't gonna wear a basic ass white button up.
I salute that. Hire you for PR or something, because I was just thinking I'm done with all the extra stuff to get dressed and get ready to go somewhere that I don't even have one be, but that's another conversation for another time.
You
It's
know
just
me.
not for me.
See, like, and I'll wear stiletto heels to the grocery store. So here we go.
Well, see, I think that's a whole nother conversation for another episode. Um, like women can look a certain way and throw things together a certain way, and I'm not even saying it like really it ain't about nothing. It just I think it's more so a fault of the like fashion industry. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all got more quote unquote toys to play with when it comes to
Yeah,
clothing and accessorizing and all that. And
that's
you know,
facts.
here go my accessory with my routine gear right here. I feel comfortable in this right here. So but got a couple custom pieces and more to come. But that said, again, another episode, another conversation.
Yeah, because they do definitely give us way more options, just period. Like, way more
Y'all,
options.
y'all got makeup. Y'all got makeup.
I mean, y'all got some forms of makeup too, and some men wear makeup. So
Well, hold on. Rewind. Time out. All right, I'm just gonna
y'all have
point to
like
the title.
Beijing and shit. That's kind of like men's makeup.
I'm just gonna point to the
Oh
title
yeah,
right there.
I know. You, I wouldn't catch you in makeup unless you were on set and they were powdering your nose for
I,
shine.
I doubt that. I might just have to get my little natural remedies to get it off myself.
Okay.
I don't want you putting your toxins on me. That
Yeah, hell
being
yeah.
said, that's definitely connected to what we talking about tonight. But just in terms of appreciating what is natural, and I understand that the camera's not always kind to some of the elements of nature, but
But
so
lighting
be
is
it.
everything, baby. Cause
Hey, well, I know I'm talking to a professional in that area, so I ain't even going, you know what I mean? You got the floor, madam. You could break it down for him if you like. You know what I'm
nah,
saying? Real talk. But I mean,
no.
it ain't, all of this is, it's for whoever will. But I only have because I had to. And honestly, even as we start to get into tonight's conversation about the bang boogie, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? It's like, you know, it seems like people don't hear what you got to say unless, you look a certain way and appeal to a certain image. So I said, let me see if I could polish up a little bit.
Hey, you wanna like get on with me real quick on?
I thought, what happened? We not on? What we need to do?
Start our show. We didn't start Clubhouse.
Oh, shit is that?
Gosh, Clubhouse is one thing we gotta keep remembering to start.
Yo, you right. Mop is that. Hey, y'all see, we give it to you real. It's still raw.
Yeah,
When we get it right, when we
but
get it
anybody
wrong.
who's been messing with me already knows how I get down. Like you're gonna get the real deal. Like it is what's like. This is life. If y'all
Right.
are with me, you know that I'm about to give it to you. I'm a real ass person, so we're gonna do real ass shit. Like
My bad for the echo. Mop is that.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
have time for all the other stuff, you know,
Right.
because what you see is what you get. Okay.
Right. I don't even see if I
So,
can handle that echo real quick though. Maybe there. All right, there we go. Let's try that. But yeah, I mean,
wow. Sorry
the,
about that, y'all. Anyone that was joining us in on Clubhouse.
my bad, y'all. I don't know if I fixed it properly, but um, we appreciate those of y'all who bear with us through, these early stages. It's formative, it's like baby steps.
Baby steps.
We
Yes,
just
baby steps.
we just getting this thing in
We're
motion. You know what I
toddling
mean?
right now. We're kind of falling
Right,
over still every once in a while.
right.
I just
So
ran into the wall earlier. I don't know.
it's like reality of it is, I don't know if I can join you on that joint right now, Mel, because I'm hearing a crazy feedback. My bad. You think you'd be able to have it rocking while we
I mean,
while
they're
we
only going to hear my voice, so there's going to be dead air whenever I'm not talking, which is a lot of
that's
times.
goofy, right?
So
All right, well,
just turn your volume all the way down on your
man,
phone.
I thought I did. I'm not the most technologically advanced at this.
Sir. It's
Yeah,
the buttons on the side.
yeah, no, I'm doing it and it ain't working right. That's why I don't like technology neither.
I don't know. Mine's quiet. You don't hear mine, do you?
Not at all. Not
Okay.
even. But I can hear you coming out the speaker. It's like, man, they probably like, why would I listen to him? He don't even know how to work an iPhone.
Funny as heck. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, by the way.
But it does though. Because in this society, people feel as though if you are not up on times, then you don't know anything. Like right now, I still don't know what I'm doing on this phone. And I'll be quite honest, technology frustrates me because, like, I could talk to you and say, hey, well, what am I doing wrong here? And if you were here in real time, it'd be a lot faster to resolve it. But, like, trying to
Right.
tell me over the I'm like, huh? What? I gotta look at you, then look at the phone, then look at you, then look at the phone, then look back at you, and my fingers be working while I'm trying. It'll get confusing for somebody
Sir.
from. I only got one
Sir.
Pentium processor that move that fast, even though I got three that work simultaneously. If
He
you don't
said a
understand that,
Pentium processor.
because you ain't from my era. See, this was before the
How
microchips
you gonna
was
say I'm not from
silicone.
your era? I'm
Yeah.
literally from your era.
No, I mean like your processing units though. Like I'm just
Oh yeah,
from
my
before this.
processing units are still 16 years old, but we don't want to talk about that.
Oh well, yeah, well, Silicon Valley, they got something popping with the cobalt and the other things. I don't know nothing about that. I just know I can't get this echo to stop, and it's frustrating me. So if it's not bothering y'all, carry on
I
then.
don't think that anyone can hear it in the mic. I think that you can only hear me coming out your phone just a little bit, and
All right,
it's
cool.
gonna be okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna rock with it. Locking in,
Yeah, you
loaded.
guys, if you are listening somewhere other than Clubhouse and you see hear echo, then let us know, okay?
Yeah, please. We appreciate the feedback. But back to the point at hand. Got all dapper Dan or tried
Yeah,
the
because
best
it
that
is
I can.
episode 4.
I tried. I'm trying, yo.
Episode 4 under the microscope. I like that. I like that we got a little tagline for it today.
You
It's got
know.
its own little name.
Yeah, I figured we kind of like zoom in, get some real close up, speculative perspective on, what is this thing, the Bang Boogie, or AKA the vaccine. What is
Can't say
it?
the word, man. You can't even say the word. Don't even say the
Well,
word.
that's kind of why I had the, you know what I mean, with it, because it
But you
was.
said it.
But I figured if I whispered it, maybe the algorithm didn't hear it.
The alligator rhythm.
That too, you know what I mean? Maybe you got to be at a certain frequency or a certain, let's
I don't
say,
know.
level, sea level for it to be, received by this here computer system. I don't know nothing about computers for real. I know how to work the internet though. But that, being said, I did a little bit of, internet researching, internet researching, and, I did a little looking up some things, and as we talk about the Bang Boogie, and you know, I guess I just wanted to make sure people understood like our position on it is not trying to. I know you kept saying we're not trying to advise people, and yet it really our focus isn't consultation or advising people. We're not medical
Hmm.
professionals. It's not the please don't take your consultation. However, we are asking you to consider the information. We are imploring and appealing to you, human to human. Consider the information because
Right.
really, you know, I myself have been vaccinated in the past. You know, and I hope they don't cut us off because I actually acknowledge that I got a shot before. So I'm giving y'all a point, 1 point for y'all team. You know what I'm saying? But that said, you know, I also understand that things while they have changed with times, technology, etc. I know what hasn't changed is my humanity. I know what hasn't changed is my autonomy in terms of my right to choose, as well as you know the acknowledgement by the industry that it's still an experimental process. It's still a process that involves quote unquote amplifying, boosting, enforcing, or reinforcing one's natural immunity to function as the way immunity in a human body is supposed to function. So it really, really, I wanted to have a conversation, and for those who tune in, I would love to hear y'all thoughts. And again, again, we're not trying to tell people what to do. So if you have some information as uh, you think we should hear, drop it on us. Promise, it's not going to be hostile. It's not going to be disrespectful, nothing like that. Because we really are on some like, hey, it's a community, and let's talk. Let's share information so that we can become better informed. And I wanted to say that again from the beginning about having been vaccinated in the past. I was not always, I didn't always hold a position today. I didn't hold that position back then. It's information that I've personally come across that has caused me to change my position on things. It's experiences that I've had personally that have caused me to change my perspective and position on things. So I want to have that conversation in this place because that's a thrust and a part of the motto, the not for me, especially right now with what's happening worldwide, nationwide, statewide, and a lot of states is going through some real intense social and political policy changes.
Yeah.
A,
Seriously.
a lot of things are happening as it relates to a person's individual choice versus what potentially is supposed to be a threat to the general public. Um, So yeah, vaccines. I want to get into that. I'm gonna give you a chance to just hop in there. I want some water in my throat. I talk a lot sometimes. My bad.
All right, man. So, first and foremost, like, let's just start from the fact that no matter what you choose to do, like, whether you choose to take the bang boogie or not, like, you have to understand one thing, and that is that it is still relying on your natural immune system. So it's literally supposedly trigger your natural immune system. Okay. So it's still relying on your natural immune system. So the point is you have to have a good immune system still. You still have to take care of yourself and make sure that you are supporting your immune system because if even if you get that bang boogie, it doesn't mean that you're just protected, boom, automatically. You still like it's how if your immune system is bad, you can't like I don't know how to explain this. Like I need an analogy because like literally if you like take a rotten banana, it's still a rotten banana no matter what you inject it with. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you can inject it with all types of things, food colorings and all types of things, but the fact of the matter is at the core that banana is still rotten. You see what I'm saying? So like if you don't take care of yourself, you're still not going to be just like boom automatically healthy because you got injected with some experiment that you don't even know what it is, which by the way, it literally rewrites your coding in your mRNA, which is your messengers that tells your cells how to create cells. So like you don't even know what they just coated your cells with, but we won't even get into that. The point of the matter is, at the very base of it, you have to make sure that you are eating properly, that you're getting, some kind of exercise, that you're getting sunshine, vitamin D, getting around people. Introducing yourself to germs is very important because in order for your immune system to build itself, it has to have information. Otherwise, it's just an empty box, basically. Like you have to put stuff in it. You see what I'm saying? Like it doesn't know what something is if it has never seen it. So in order to fight something, it has to know what it's fighting.
I
You have
think
to.
that the argument there definitely, that's the core argument for vaccines,
What?
or the vaccinology, the study of vaccines and immunology practice, is that something is being introduced to the human immune system that is unfamiliar with, to prepare it for a potentially more threatening virus, what may have you.
Okay, but they're supposed this one doesn't do that. But ones in the past have supposedly used either a dead or a live version of the virus and introduced your body to it in that manner. Instead of you getting it naturally, they're injecting it into your body, which actually there's certain processes that your body goes through in order to gain immunity against something, and they bypass some of those processes by injecting it into your body, so it doesn't act, it's not the same, but still they're still relying on your natural immunity to be triggered. So with that being said, vitamins, eating healthy, building your immune system is majorly important regardless of what you decide to do. So even if you do decide to inject yourself with this, you still need to take care of yourself. Stop eating McDonald's and shit like that. Like you need to take care of your body. You need to um, feed it the proper foods that it needs in order to work and function properly. Like you have to give yourself at least a fighting chance at that the base core of it, because without that, you're no matter how many boosters you get, um, you're still not any less susceptible to be getting super sick or dying or whatever you're so afraid of happening with a virus that's been around since before we were ever even here. Probably. It's been around for thousands of years. It's a family of viruses, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. A coronavirus is actually a family of viruses. It's many viruses. Common cold is coronavirus. Many flus are the coronavirus. Pretty much all flus are the coronavirus. Um, so
Yeah, I mean,
there's that.
again, I want to just, take the time.
I should have put my MD on. Sorry, guys.
And
Dr. Melody.
I was going to make my little disclaimer again that, this is not
Not a
professional
doctor. I'm just an
medical
educated person.
advice. This is just information being shared.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you what to do, but whatever you do decide to do, you still have to take care of yourself and be properly like taking care of your health.
and this is, I'm glad you shared a lot of those elements. I'm gonna just probably recap probably at least half of it, uh, because this is what researching and reacquainting myself with the information, you know, just does. I mean, in terms of what information, what you come across. Just gonna reiterate a lot of those same points you just made. So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that, but at the same token, the point can't really be overstressed, in terms of the concept of the vaccine being a tool for health, um, and a number of sources we're going to make available, uh, various places, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Uh, it just, everybody is going to agree that, vaccines are just a tool. They're just a tool. They're just a tool. They're just a tool. And you talk about comparisons. Again, I'm not a medical professional, so maybe my comparison is just too rudimentary, or maybe it's completely off in some technical way. But I thought of it more like fuel injector. Um, Again, I'm not a mechanic either, but I just know, fuel injector, that it's supposed to help improve the capacity at which your vehicle operates and burns fuel. But it doesn't put gas in your car. You still got to put gas in your car. And it doesn't change the fact that you still got to deal with maintenance, and you still got to, like,
Mm-hmm.
rotate your tires and, check
Get
your
your oil
oil and all
changed
that.
and shit.
All that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
And so the fuel injector might be helpful, but as a lot of people tend to decide, it's just an unnecessary added expense. Um, so if that's a good comparison, and if that's accurate, I just feel like the vaccines are just a form of fuel injector. And this again, if you want to you inject something in your fuel system, your car, your human body, whatever, rock out. Ricky Bobby, man. You know, fast you last. I don't know how to
You
say
ain't
it though.
first, you're
Yeah, that
last.
too. But it just
I'm pretty sure that cars need fuel injectors, though. Like, I don't know if that was a good
no. I'm talking
example
about the
because
fluid or cleaning fluid, whatever.
pretty sure they need fuel injectors.
Well, those who really, really know cars, they know what I'm talking about. It's the stuff that they sell you in most of these.
Blinker fluid.
Say again. Blade
Blinker fluid.
Oh, nah. Blinker fluid. They done got you. They sell you all kind. Your car is cardboard with plastic keys. They got you. They go whoop whoop. They go your alarm. They got you. No, not that. Blinker fluid. No, what I'm saying is, anybody been in, AutoZone or one of these mechanic shops, the
Mick
first
mechanic.
the first couple aisles is a bunch of crap you don't really need, but it's stuff that, if you in the cars and you want to, add a slight edge in your car's performance over the next car you competing with, then you might go ahead and invest in those items, but you don't need it
Mm.
for regular day-to-day maintenance and, commuting to work and stuff. And that's what I'm referring to, an injection fluid cleaner, whatever that crap is. You probably spend like $20, $30 on it. It don't make your car go no faster or slower. It's just burn $20 right there, bang. But I mean, that's what I think. And that's not saying it don't work effectively in all cars, or any cars. It's just saying that it's a preference. Just like uh, people drink, distilled or, spring or whatever kind of water, oxygenated water, where some people are still on tap water. And I definitely ain't
Please
no
stop drinking
advocate.
tap water.
I
And do not
definitely
drink spring water either because that's just tap water from wherever it
most
was bottled
most
at.
of it is, yeah. I ain't saying you know
Do
to
your
drink,
research because not all companies. That's not true.
but
Not all
that's
companies.
the point though, is
You got to
that
do your research on where it came from.
when it comes to this vax thing, because somebody looks like
Or
this,
purified
maybe
water.
maybe they don't have
Strictly
on these
water.
cool shades and this awesome one of a kind type style 3B fitted, you know what I'm saying, with snapback, what have you. But you know, the reality of it is we looking at the wrong things. And when
Mm.
it comes to vaccines, our lack of understanding of the history of where this whole thing comes from, and not just COVID, I'm talking about the whole industry. When we start looking at the money that the vaccine industry has been making in the last, say, 5 to 10 years alone, like, I mean, you can't tell me that there is no correlation, and then say just try to say out of nowhere that diseases have just manifested themselves out of thin blue air. And I heard you say certain things have been with us for thousands of years, but I would even argue that not everything. I will argue that if anything, maybe smallpox might be the one that's like really, really got that tenure, so to speak. But man, truth be told, there's a possibility most of this stuff is just concocted and created in a laboratory somewhere. And I say that mostly because of what I've heard all these people who are professionals say. There's everything from horse pox to chicken pox to your whatever kind of animal pox you could think of. They got a pox out there. Sheep pox, monkey pox,
All the
barn the
pox.
barnyard pox gang. Like
Chicken
that's
pox,
it's
pox, pox. Bark, bark, bark,
it's
bark.
out there. So when you look at the research and you start seeing a lot of this stuff is even connected to quote unquote research as it pertains to agriculture and worrying about food issues and water health and all that type of stuff. And I know I'm a little bit exaggerating things, but I'm saying is that there's so many things that are being passed off as research for one thing, and it's out of that type of research and out of the funding for those things that this viral studies and these vaccines are being produced. And here's another kicker. How about the fact that, when vaccinations were first industry, so to speak, it was first a business, you probably had about 30 plus different businesses that were in the business in the United States alone of creating vaccines. Well, current times, you only got four basically. And it's like, well, what happened? I mean, clearly we have a need for vaccines, right? So how is it you go from having more of a need for vaccines and less people making them? Those
Because
things don't
it's
add
easier
up.
to control smaller amounts of companies and
Well, yeah, that part is clear when you look at it from the macro, social, politic. But we talking about health issues. We talking about the reasons why these decisions are made to put people on lockdown. What's good, guys? These decisions that are made to put people on lockdown, or we talked last week about people being in those concentration camps. Excuse me, being in those vaccination camps in Australia, what may have you. What's the purpose behind that? What's the humane reason behind that?
it's for everybody's health and safety.
Right. And you gotta stay there till you get a
Because if
vaccine.
they don't get like 75 boosters, they're going to die. Even though
Well,
people, I'm sorry, I really, really, really hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but you're all about to die anyways.
right.
Everybody's going to die. If that's what you want to call it, death, your body will cease to be used anymore. There will come a day where you leave this shell, this temple, this body of yours, and move on to other things.
Yeah, but that just sounds so callous and
But it's
insensitive.
real.
And you know what else? It just
So
does.
you
I
should
don't.
live as healthy and as happy as you possibly can while
Uh-huh.
you're here.
Uh-huh. Because that brings it back to the point of what is the vaccine intended to do? It's
Well, it
intended.
can't give you immortality, sweetheart. So I'm so sorry, y'all.
Hey, you'd be surprised how many of them are created in the
And look at how many motherfuckers are dying off that shit. And
right. But I'm saying you'd be surprised how many vaccines and things besides
they've
vaccines are
been dying
created
off of them. So
in in search of immortality. How about that? It's certain things that
okay, well, here's what's amazing is this is like a whole different off subject entirely, but you are eternal. So you have immortality. You are immortal already as it is, period. It's just this body that goes. So just take care of it right now while you can, while you have it. Take care of it. Make sure that you are staying as healthy as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, that's all you can really do is take care of this temple while you got it, because you only have it for this amount of time, and then it can't continue to go on as long as you can. It can't. It's made from the earth. It has to go back to the earth from whence it came.
excuse me. No, I hear that and I agree. And a lot will and many
But
won't.
them things, they don't make you eternal. Like, you can't. You already
Yeah, well,
are. And it won't
while
make this body last any longer than it's gonna already
while
last.
you and I sit here and talk about it in agreement, there's people out there who have lots of resources and influence that are doing what they're doing. And not
Yeah.
only are they doing it for themselves, but they are making it mandatory for others to do it as well.
uh
And or I should say, at least that's their intention and that's their declaration. They have declared that it is necessary for everybody to do this. And I'm not with the bang boogie. It's not for me.
It's but
I'm
not for me. It's but
I'm
not for we. Y'all,
I'm not
stop.
against people being healthy by no stretch of the imagination. And I'm not against people's free choice as far as it pertains to their individual welfare and their individual bodies. But the ideas that are being conflated at this time in terms of the mainstream versus like what's really really the issues, it's like, all right, well, when it come down to vaccines, again, I've been vaccinated. However, after having been vaccinated, uh it was one of my own personal military experiences with a vaccine that um you know bear with me for 1 second, James. I see your question. It was my experience, with vaccination, a vaccination process that really made me had to start asking questions because the reality of it is that the reason we subject ourselves to things we not sure of. So like James asked, so is a flu shot a vaccine? I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna get there. We subject ourselves to these things because we think, hey, there's a threat. Somebody out here who's telling me heads up, look, it's a threat coming. We want to trust that person because we figure, hey, they got our best interests in heart and mind, and we figure they might even know something we don't know. So back to the question: is the flu shot a vaccine? From what I understand, the flu shot, it really depends on which one you're talking about. Because right now in 2021, there's multiple varieties of them. There's not even one standardized. They've got vaccines where they've
They even
used.
doing flu shots anymore?
Yes, they are, and that's what I'm saying. Like, see, the industry has
I thought they
evolved.
said that I
Now I
thought
know
they
what
said
you're
this
getting at.
eradicated the flu.
Nah, and so we're gonna come to that too. But that's my thing. Like, so they said I went to Merriam-Webster's
That's a freaking amazing.
for one of the things I looked at in terms of definition, and it was saying that the vaccine. I wrote the note down. I got it somewhere. Let me see what I go over here. What they say. Hold on. I do a little research sometimes. Let me see. Vaccines work by developing and enhancing the immunity of the body to naturally fight against serious infection and disease/illness. Vaccines are meant to train and strengthen the immune system to develop resistance against antibodies and illnesses by imitating an infection to create a natural immune response. So, are flu shots a vaccine? I would say the mRNA based vaccines are totally questionable because I don't see nothing natural about, like Melody referred to earlier, fooling around with no genetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, I'm not a geneticist or whatever other one of them ethicists you could be. However, it's just a lot of cause for pause because while I know there are a lot of well intended individuals who are educated in areas such as this way more, let's say, extensively than myself in terms of information. I mean, I told y'all before, what about care? Um, it's so many cases of mishandling the people who are supposed to be getting treated. And that's my realist, like that's the biggest thing for me in terms of whether it's a vaccine or anything else. We talking about why are we interacting in the first place? If it ain't to benefit each other, then I don't care what you got to say. I don't care what you got to offer. I don't care what you got to sell. But if we talk about you're intruding upon my rights as a human, as American citizen X, Y, and Z, for the sake of you know, telling me it's going to keep you safe, me safe, and everybody else safe, I have every right to challenge your thoughts, your theories, your philosophies about it, just like you got the right to challenge mine. Um, the vaccine situation, the history on it is way more extensive than what's like readily available. But that said, is even with what's readily available, a lot of it's sketch. They talk about 1795. What was my main name? Pastel or something like that. Pasteur. One of them. I might got one of the names mixed up, but the focus was like, hey, we're gonna deal with this smallpox thing. It just made me wonder. Well, smallpox wasn't around. Clearly, it was around before that, but like had to be around for a while before that. Other people in other countries was dealing with it differently. Why they didn't do it that way? What was the impetus or the trigger, the reason for going, like you said, skipping those steps? Why didn't you do it exactly the way they did it in China? Why didn't you do it exactly the way they did it in Africa, maybe the Middle East, what may have you? Like, why were these practices converted and altered so that it had a very specific you know nuance that I like to argue just gave copyright and ownership to the inventor? But if I talk about that and I talk about the 1700s and the 1800s and colonialism and capitalism playing a part in, I don't know, health, people would probably think I'm crazy for saying that. They didn't do that back then, just like they don't do that now.
People will call you crazy for saying anything that is not spread on
You
CNN
can't call me
is
crazy though, cause I got
reality.
him on a tie
So I just want to like real quick.
and a button down.
So like I've been studying vaccinations and things like that for many years, and this is something that I printed off December 9th, 2011. I was reading up on the like hepatitis B shots and the what's that one Gardasil. You know, Gardasil for they give to like teenagers for HPV,
Okay,
the
cause if
human
you just said
papilloma.
HBV, I'd have understood from the rip, cause I wrote them
Okay.
down.
So
They got Hep real quick. I can just run them down. Hep B, then they got Rota, diphtheria, tetanus, the DTP, and then they got the HIB, which is Haemophilus influenza type B. Then they got the pneumococcal conjugate. Then they got inactivated poliovirus. Then they got it's two options for the flu shot influenza. Then they got MMR, varicella. My bad for slaughtering this. Hep A, Tdap, meningococcal, uh, and I think that's all the ones. That's like the mandatory shots though, or the recommended shots from the CDC. My bad. Go ahead.
so they actually, I mean, just to kind of show you, like, this is not anything new for them to be messing with people and injecting bullshit into people. So, this, I'm just going to read a little excerpt from this. It says, none other than the now deceased head of vaccines at Merck, Dr. Maurice Hillerman, who admitted that Merck's hepatitis B vaccines contaminated with the virus caused the AIDS epidemic in the US. I'm going to read that again. Merck's hepatitis B vaccines contaminated with a virus caused the AIDS epidemic in the US because they were literally putting AIDS into the vaccinations. They have admitted to putting AIDS and cancer cells into the vaccinations for these Gardasil too. So, like, when you just think about, like, how can you think that these people have any kind of like, I don't know, your care or your concern in mind, like, at all? I don't understand how somebody could think that they want the best for you when they purposely put things in there to harm people. And yes, the flu shot is a vaccination. Now, the flu shot used to just be a live or dead virus of whatever the current virus was, because the thing about coronavirus is that they're very rapidly um, um, what's the word I'm looking for, mutating.
Mutating.
They mutate very quickly, so that's why you can catch a cold multiple times, but your cold never really gets like deathly, like you're gonna die, right? Because you still have like parts of those spike proteins from whatever the last version was. The only thing is that some of the things change, and that's the mutation, and that's how it can reattach again. So your body then just like fights against it. Same with the flu. So with the flu vaccination, which is also another coronavirus, a flu is. Most flus are anyways. Most are SARS, and those are coronaviruses. So they that's why they have vaccinations for that every single year, because they're able to take whatever the new mutation of it was, and they just they just create a vaccination off of that, whether it's a dead or live virus. Different vaccinations have used different ones, so it just depends on the company. So, and then James said that if the flu shot is a vaccine, then everyone as a child has injected vaccines to our bodies. Our bodies have already been immune to the vaccine. I never have had a flu shot in my life at all. But I have gotten the
Well,
flu a couple of times ever in my life, a couple of times. Like,
I mean that might be true, and I mean that's appreciate that point. I would say from what I've seen, so the thing about vaccines, again, this is one of the things personally gives me pause. It the methodology for a lot of them is kind of like the implementation is it's not like you get it all at one time. It's a series of shots typically. Um, And so, if the series isn't taken within the prescribed or recommended, time frame, kind of makes the quote unquote vaccination moot or ineffective.
This is
Uh,
what they say. What's funny is they, for some of the same vaccinations that they're giving kids, multiple. I don't even know how many they give them anymore because what the heck? They give kids like 85 shots by the time they're like a few years old. That's ridiculous. And they have multiple injections of ones that they used to just give one injection of. Now all of a sudden you need like 70 of them. Like, come on, man. It's
right.
ridiculous. They're just
I mean,
injecting people just to inject people with shit at this point, I swear.
it's a number of different nuances I saw when I went on the CDC, etc., as it relates to how they recommend how many shots, etc., etc. Um, I know for me, what recollect. I remember probably, I would say I probably got about 30. I feel like I personally in my life got less than 50 like routine shots. Um, and even I would say shots total, right? Because in the military we had certain shots we had to get, but I would say I probably got at least half my shots in military service. Um, so again, I didn't have any real objection, honestly, with any vaccination except for the anthrax vaccine, which was something that was required for my unit and I guess others being deployed. And I definitely raised questions and again, calls for pause, right? So, I spoke to the higher ups, etc., chain of command or whatever. And it wasn't like I had no sit down or nothing like that. Just you go to whoever's over you and say, hey, is it a way I can kind of not do this? Because I ain't feeling this. Um,
Hmm.
and it was like, no, it's mandatory. And the argument was, can't have you in combat and die from anthrax. Okay. And this was over a period of like 7 months. This was supposed to happen, one shot a month. Um, 3 months passed. Got the first three shots. It was mandatory, and then the fourth month came along, and magically it became voluntary.
Hmm.
And all the months subsequently after that were all voluntary. So naturally, the line died down, and
Right.
naturally, you had a few who still chose to, you know, get that.
Participate.
Yeah, but it was just like I from the rip was just like anthrax is a freaking powder. Like, what we gonna snort it out there or something? Like, why is we getting shots in our arm for something that's supposed to be our gas mask should adequately suffice in this case? And it baffles me at times how sometimes the way explanations can change. And
Yeah.
you won't be able to convince me that something at one point was definitely a threat to me. All of a sudden now it's no big deal like that just yeah. And then here's the other side. Do you even really know what's really going into you get down to that? Like, I
Never do
mean,
you, honestly. I
but
mean,
the
honestly.
but the tragedy is that when you look at what's reported, which is what I was forced to do by looking at this stuff, and it was like,
Mm,
hold up, like, you think this stuff is, conspiracy theory conversation and people just
mm,
making stuff up,
mhm.
but aborted fetal
Yes.
cells
Mhm.
really are in a variety of vaccines.
Yes,
And
they
this is
are.
not a new thing. And then
And
here's
other
the
and other animal cells too.
right. So I mean, but just take it on the human level though. It's like even if somebody's argument was,
They
well,
put pig cells and shit in there.
no, I know they do that too, but this is the thing though. Even if let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say they don't, right? And let's say that even if Ari, this is these are all whatever the parents didn't want these children, right? And this is supposedly going to make a life out of a life, right? Like I don't know. I feel like I might have just gave them that. I don't. Y'all been. I'm suing if y'all use that. Don't use my stuff. Like for
Talk
real.
about you just gave a life out of a life. You said
Yeah.
what? No.
No, but that's the type. Of, that's what I'm
Yo,
saying with
and
the
stem
wording.
cells, man. Oh, I don't even want to get into
But
the
that
stem
but that's the
cells.
wording though is what I'm getting at, and this is the issue because when you look at it, it's like, wait a minute, how can this be okay? How can this be okay? How at what point in the creation of human beings, which no species, no society, no academic institution has the quote unquote complete knowledge on. Nobody knows where we originate from or how we all got here and how we all function. Everybody's still speculating, guessing, postulating, and hypothesizing. How all of a sudden you could just automatically take your guesses and make it my automatic reality? That's what I'm getting down to at the core of it.
Well,
Cause you
because
telling me
right
you
now
guessing.
everybody's a part of a gigantic experiment. I mean, we've pretty much been in experiments
Well,
for a while,
obviously, if we're
but this
using
is like a
baby brain
major
cells,
experiment right
if
now.
we're using baby brain cells, obviously, and this is my point, because if you look at smallpox 1,000 years ago, you mean tell me it never occurred to nobody to
Mhm.
crack open a baby head like an egg and say, hey, let's use the yolk here and put that in somebody's system and make them better? Now, when I say that, that's real graphic, right? But if you look at the movie
Talking about
Apocalypto,
yolk.
yeah, because that's what we talking about. We talking about the wet gooey material, because that's what we getting down to. When we start talking about with the extraction of fetal embryonic tissue and
Yeah.
genetic material, we talking about yolk. We talking about juice. We talking about liquids. We talk about
Hmm.
stuff that is base material, if I can use that terminology. I ain't no chemist, but I'm learning some things. And I'm saying what I'm saying ultimately because of this. Watch this. One thing I can say is I'm learning and studying nutrition. And so
That's
the
good.
old adage of you are what you eat has never
Yeah, that's
rang
huge.
truer.
Let food be thy medicine.
Right. That's Hippocrates has been credited for saying that, right?
Yeah, he.
Hippocrates, whatever. But what I'm saying is that when you think about it from a chemical standpoint, just food alone. You are what you eat. So they tell you, hey, food pyramid, which has been changed to my plate or whatever, the new diagram, whatever
That
it
food
is.
pyramid is trash, y'all.
Listen, they all of it is prescribed, and that's the point I want people to get understanding. It is a prescription. It is an experimentation. And then watch this, like I said before, any doctor that you go to is not gonna have a problem saying, hey, if you don't trust what I'm saying, get a second opinion. Why? Because they speculating like the next person. They taking the information that's available to them like the next person. The one distinction might be, hey, they spent 12, 14, 20, 40 years doing hut, playing college games, or maybe they really studied. Maybe they really did well on the MCAT. Maybe they bombed on it, barely passed. Like, we don't know what these people's real pedigree is. And that's why I say what's more important than adherence to all this mumbo jumbo, all this jargon that gets made up, by the way, because we just pointed out, didn't they just change the definition vaccine
Man,
like
they
a
did
couple
just change
months
the
ago?
definition of vaccine and added. They added, like, specifically added mRNA as in the COVID-19 vaccination. Like, they literally specifically added that. Where the hell is y'all know I got the dictionary right here.
So, I mean, that being the case, when
Y'all
we
know I got the
understand that
dictionary right here.
vaccines by the industry, they articulated themselves, they not 100% effective. They tell you themselves, we no longer even want the liability that's going to come with what the side effects and the outcomes might be. Even so much so that the stuff's barely getting reported to the VAERS system now. And the crazy part is what has been reported, again with COVID as an example, it's trumping all the other vaccines of how badly they've harmed people.
Right.
So it
Hell
it,
yeah.
it really just
Absolutely.
becomes an issue of, I ain't telling you what to do other than look a little deeper than what somebody just told you, including me.
Yeah, always.
But I'm definitely gonna drop some links and drop some stuff for you to check out. And one last thing, the guy's name, his name is Dr. Dan Grooms. Okay, and I'm gonna shut up about this whole vaccination thing. I ain't gonna shut up completely, but I'm done from here, and I'm taking this monkey stuff off. Dr. Dan Grooms, right? This man is a doctor who works in the veterinary field. He works primarily with animals.
Okay.
But his specialty is in vaccinations.
Okay.
And when he starts breaking down why vaccines work or do not work, and he starts to go into detail about the residual impacts of failed vaccines and sicknesses and things that are impacting livestock.
Yeah.
Back to my point about you are what you eat.
Right. Exactly. So if they're
If
injecting
the
that shit into the
majority of
animals that you're eating,
and the drinking their pus-filled sap juice
ugh,
that come out of they
stop drinking.
daggone.
Oh, unless you're a baby cow, please stop drinking cow's milk. You
Hey,
are
listen,
creating mucus in your
they
body and
they told us
inflammation. It's
for
terrible for
over
you.
40 years milk does a body good.
Yeah,
Pass
and
it
you know what's
on.
crazy? They told us that if we didn't drink it, that we weren't getting enough calcium, and that's how we got calcium. And you want to know what really happens when you drink milk? It actually
Breaks your
creates a
body down.
chemical reaction inside your body that makes your body pull calcium from your bones in order to counteract that chemical reaction. So actually, what it does is removes fucking calcium from your body. Don't listen to them. Find your calcium either in greens, very dark greens, are calcium freaking beautiful.
Mushrooms are a great source too.
Yes. I mean, if you're a milk
And
drinker,
then
drink some almond milk. It has more
sunlight.
calcium in it than
And I'm
fucking.
not gonna tell you that you're gonna get all the calcium you need from just standing in the sun. However,
No,
you
but
will
if
get a
you're eating
portion
your
of it.
foods properly and
You will
even
get a
take some
portion of
supplements
it.
then. Shit, take some supplements then.
Just leave that dairy alone. It's part of the
Um,
game.
but beyond anything, like going back to the bang boogie, like if you are somebody, even if you want to inject that yourself with that and your family with that, you know, you have every right to do that. You know, that's your choice. But that's the point though, is that you should have that choice. Right now, they just in Philadelphia or in Philly, like literally here comes the
Y'all crazy. Y'all done
they
lost
they
your goddamn
literally
mind. Think I'm
they
going for this shit.
literally are telling people that
I am not
they're
playing no
about to
games.
not be
Listen,
able to go into restaurants and anywhere that serves food without a freaking bang boogie. So I don't care what you decide about yourself. The point is that everybody should be able to have a choice. People are not like, come on, you guys, come
I know
on.
I
It's
didn't. I
it's
didn't do
really,
this.
really important that you guys open your eyes up to the world around you and you really look around you and you see what's really going on around you. And I want you to just stop for a second and realize, like, and think, is this a whole lot different than any other flu season? Is this a whole lot different than it has been for the last freaking 30 years of your life, 20 years of your life, 15 years of your life? Come on. Seriously, you have to ask yourself that question, like honestly, and be honest with yourself. Be
Yeah,
honest with yourself
I just want to say that
because
reality,
we're,
reality
we're,
of it
we're
is.
making we're making decisions right now. We're allowing them to make decisions for us right now that we cannot go back from. And once you allow that door to be opened, good luck trying to shove them out to close it back up.
Well, I want to throw a different spin on it, goddess. Like,
Because the
beloved,
pendulum
listen.
can swing the other way, honey. Just because you think it's okay for you right now, because this is what you're all okay with, shit can come back onto you too. And then what? Then it's cool. Then all of a sudden you need to have a choice. No, we need to always have a choice.
No,
Okay.
I agree completely, and I think
Sorry.
no,
Sorry for yelling.
speak your mind. You know what I'm saying? But not for me. Let them know how you
Y'all know I
feel.
get real passionate about shit. Okay. I'm a passionate person, damn it.
But I think in addition to that, those who people don't misunderstand or misconstrue the passion. I mean, is what I'm getting ready to say is in reference to something you shared with me. Um, as we was talking about subversion and the media messages in terms of getting populations to kind of fall apart from the seams on the
Yes.
inside, kind of self sabotage. Um, I think that's part of this as well, just from the angle of like, you know, certain things are happening and the ball is already in motion. You're not going to stop. It's not going backwards. That being said, like the guy was talking about how the Chinese handle it. They you don't take that punch head on. You know, hey, I'm hype. I'm taking my stuff off. I ain't taking my stuff off because I'm ready to go. Do the right thing and Radio Raheem and trash can through the windows and nobody establishment. You know what I'm taking my stuff off for? I'm gonna get comfortable. I'm about to chill in my crib. I'm
Sorry
about to
about
put my
that.
money right. I'm about to hold up. Let me get my microphones. I'm about to get my money right. I'm about to get my health right. I'm about to stop eat. I'm about to
Hey.
stop eating at these BS restaurants and these people
Positive
poisoning
vibes,
me
James.
anyway. I'm about to stop buying into the fantasy and the facade that has allowed us to be in a position that we can let somebody fool us and think that we should do everything and anything they tell us to do. And as a Marine, part of what motivates me is the fact that I went and served this country, like part of it out of naivete, but part of it was what I thought it was like honor. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
believed in the whole concept of democracy, and coming from the hood in Philly, and all right, cool. You see people struggling, but you want to believe. You want to believe that there is hope if you just play by the game.
Right. And you can make a difference.
Yeah, you
And you
can
can
make
make
a
a
difference, but
difference.
here's the thing: making a difference ain't
Can make a
dictated by the
difference.
rules of the game.
No, that's the thing. Is in order to make a difference, you have to go against the rules.
Sometimes you ain't got to deal with it at all, and that's why I said I'm falling back because see what we don't take into consideration again is that monetary element that drives all of these things that's happening all around the world, and is not often spoken directly as a monetary thing. Again, looking at the information I looked at, they was vamping up to increase sales in the 12-14 billion dollar range by this was in 2014. They was planning to have that in 2025, and that's according to the industry statistics that I found online that was saying that in 2014 they was already the vaccine industry was already planning on making twice as much money as they had already seen, and you only got four pharmaceutical companies that make all the vaccines. Like, come on, like where you think all these vaccines and came from out of nowhere, quick, fast, and a hurry? It takes so long to make these things. 8 years generally one to make one. And I
Oh
understand they
no.
say that the mRNA vaccine can be produced easier or faster. I'm sure it can, and I'm sure there's reasons why. And again, experimental is
It's
all
an
new territory, which
experiment.
they say in themselves is all new. So that's why it's been not for me. I shouldn't be
I don't even
forced
know how,
to
on
do
some all the way
something
real
new
shit, I don't even know
experimentally.
how those other ones, like, okay, so Pfizer got approved, right? But how? I don't know. But Pfizer got approved. But AstraZeneca did not get approved other than under emergency act. But how is it still being approved under the emergency act and Johnson & Johnson under the emergency act? How are they still being approved under the emergency act when our own president has set out his own mouth that they can get the monoclonal antibodies? Well, isn't that an alternative way to treat yourself then? So then if there's an alternative way to treat yourself, then that means that the emergency act approvals are null and void, because
Yeah,
once there is other ways to, the whole point, the whole premise of having an emergency act approval is that there is no other fucking way to treat this but this, which we already proved long before that there was, but now they're saying out their own mouths there is. So why is nobody asking this question? Like, seriously, is everybody fast asleep? Is this thing on? Like, seriously.
yeah. I mean, listen, I tell you, you know, I think this is really a lot more people speaking up at a number of levels, politically, professionally, in the medical industry, as well as professionally in the business field, etc. However, like I was saying before, this ball is already in motion. This game has already begun. Um, and that being said,
I mean, that's true, but let's be all the way real. Like, it's a house of
to
cards, and the house of cards is on our back. And if we stand the fuck up, that motherfucker crumbles to the ground.
well,
That's just reality.
so for those who wonder if we ever have see things differently, I don't know, because I'll be honest, I don't know if I had that much faith in people working collectively for each
At
other,
this
because
point,
I
that's the
think
programming.
I
People
think
are
the
so
truth I
programmed.
think the truth is in the pudding. Like even now, like everybody that's kind of like, yeah, just get this shot. They only think about themselves. They ain't really thinking about public health. They think about their public health. Like maybe their kids or their immediate family, but they ain't really think about everybody
But
else.
what if they were really thinking about health? Then they would stop and do a little more research on what they're saying. Then they no, that's not. I can't, man.
And that's my point. Like that whether you got on a suit and a tie or whether you just wearing a t-shirt or a schmuck who just came from
This
art class or
doctor
whatever.
that's
It don't
injecting
matter.
people don't know any different than anybody else.
Most. Well, I
They don't
won't
even
say
know what's
most.
in
I'll
those
say
motherfuckers.
many
Unless they
don't.
created it, they don't even know what's in it.
Definitely, that's true. But even for the ones like you talk about not knowing, they don't. A lot of them don't even read. A lot of them aren't recommending this stuff because they read it themselves. They recommending it because somebody over top of them is telling them you don't have too many options, my man.
Yeah, and it makes some money.
Exactly. If you want to
Yeah,
get that
stick
shit
with your
neck.
tribe and prepare for the storm. Facts.
And here's the other side of it too. I don't want to end on the like totally boohoo negative note, like impending doom. Um, it is a house of cards in the sense that this is not like going to be the end of the world. Mad Max, in my opinion. I'm saying that what's going to happen is you're going to see a distinct separation between the haves and the have-nots, and this is going to be the Trojan horse that's used to create that separation. I mean, we already know last year in 2020, the wealth gap widened like more than
Mm.
it ever had. Well, if you
Sheesh.
start adding more restrictions on who can create and conduct business and who can't, based upon their physical vaccinated status, you're just automatically immediately contributing to the economic impact. You ain't immediately contributing to the health situation. And
Exactly.
the crazy part about it is, now watch this. If what they say is true, it should only take 2 weeks of forcing the unvaccinated out of public anyway. Because in 10 days, the unvaccinated should be antibodied up against whatever they, supposedly was great pass off that they didn't have. And then the vaccinated should be already amply vaccinated after they then got another round of booster and vaccinations. And therefore, everything should be good. Like, and I'm just talking about from the way the science is explained. So I know it didn't sound scientific in my breakdown, but
Yeah, well, okay, great.
I
Because two
I
years
recommend
ago, we
checking it
were
out.
told 2 weeks of lockdown and we're going to flatten the curve and then everything goes back to quote unquote normal. And here we are 2 years later. They have our children in school suffocating themselves on a daily basis, breathing in poisonous gas instead of oxygen, which means that their blood is pumping gas, poisonous gas, carbon dioxide through their body instead of pumping oxygen through their bodies like it's supposed to, which is a whole nother freaking topic that like literally I could talk about hours on that shit. Like, no, seriously, we cannot trust anything that these people say. In 2 weeks about anything, nah, fuck all that shit. I'm not hearing 10 days. I'm not hearing 2 weeks. I'm not hearing none of
Right.
that. I'm not hearing any of it anymore. I have been screaming from the top of my lungs since day one. Are you guys kidding me? Did you forget? Like, have you forgotten? Like, what? This is not the first time a virus like has entered our lives. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's an
yeah,
extensive conversation, and
it
James, I
is.
seen you posted something about
But
God and stuff,
here's
and
the thing though, like when we look at what's happening in Philly right now, what they're doing is destroying our economy. Our economy is not what they talk about our economy. When they say our economy, they're talking about their economy, okay? They're not talking about our economy, okay? Our economy is Joe's Market down the street and little town foods and the freaking gas station that's owned by Sam and Joe. Like, y'all, wake up. That's our economy. So when they're doing something like saying you can't go inside of a restaurant unless you're got the V, bruh, what they're telling you is we're about to shut this restaurant down. Okay? So either one of two things is going to happen. Everybody's going to go get that, which please believe those of us that aren't getting it, we're not getting it tomorrow or the next day or after that. Like, we're not getting it. So get that out of your head. We're not getting it. So what's going to happen is those places are going to end up going out of business. Okay. This is disrupting independent business. What they are doing, if you cannot see, open your eyes because they are destroying and they're destroying independent business. They're going to fucking destroy independent business and shut independent business down. So the only way you can get anything is through them. And they're continuing to boost their economy. And sweetheart, when you spend $10 at Walmart, it never comes back into your economy again. It goes into theirs and it stays there. It stays there. Okay? They don't go spend money at the local freaking market down the street. They're not spending money with us. Okay? So when
I,
they're doing these types of things, they're ruining and hurting our economy. And they know that. And they don't care. Because if mom and pop go out of business, it does not hurt them. Okay?
yeah, I mean
And where are you going to
that's hard.
shop at then?
That
Walmart.
that's hard to see if the only thing you see is the need to be vaccinated, you know. But that's why I said what I said about talking about that more so because like you talked about emergency authorization. I know I said I was gonna stop. And James, yes, I'm gonna touch on what I was gonna say about God. But you know, I mean, that's why I said the ball is already in motion. Our economy is our tribe, really. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who, the energy resonates with because things are gonna go the way that they go and, you know, some people gonna fold, some people ain't. You right, a lot of businesses are gonna collapse behind that.
They already
And
have.
they absolutely
A
have and
lot
they're
of
gonna
thrived over this though too. So
right. And I mean a lot of businesses, excuse me, I'm a little congested. A lot of businesses on a variety of levels, from the small to the largest. You've seen companies like Hertz go under, I think, in the last year or so. Um, it
yeah.
just it is what it is in terms of like that's why I say the ball is already in play, things already in motion. Um, so back to the God comment, I was gonna say. So when I went into the military, I was a adamant Christian. Like I was like all into the Bible and had been on mission trip and everything outside the country. Uh, just really believed it. It was something that was taught to me at a young age, and not nowhere saying I knew everything, but I studied a lot. Definitely more probably than the average, probably teenager, and probably even like urbanite. Like how guys be on like with the 5%ers, like with their knowledge. That was like the type time I was on with it. Like I really wanted to understand what I thought was the right path of understanding life. And so all that to say with God, I went into the military trying to understand more of how God would permit the circumstances that exist. I went in trying to figure out how the Ten Commandments say thou shalt not kill, which I found out actually say thou shalt not murder. But I'm trying to figure out how is God okay with that, and then people going to the military and killing people every day. And I realized that like when I was in the military, that's when like the light bulb went off, right? And then it was like, oh, so God is cool with some people. God is cool with the people that you know I guess fit into the winning circle or the successful circle or whatever, or even the thriving circle, if you will. And that's consistent across a lot of organized religions. But when it comes to God, in my mind, God is no different than you or me. Like you heard me just refer to Melody as goddess. Like we are God, we God body.
Right.
So I kind of feel like that question could be answered a gazillion different ways, about what God's plan is and all that type of stuff. And this is again why we had these conversations because my whole thing is that while I was a Christian, I saw a lot of people putting things off on God that they didn't want to put no hands on themselves.
Mm.
And it was just like, man, y'all quick to tell somebody get out here to become a Christian or whatever. It ain't gotta be Christianity. So I ain't even shitting on Christianity right now, but I'm just saying Christianity is the experience, right? So it's like y'all quick to tell somebody come do this, give up everything you got, take up the cross, follow me. But God,
Mm.
where you at right now? It's a pandemic. How many people was praying for Jesus to show up, and not only did not Jesus didn't show up, but a lot of these pastors, some of the wealthiest ones, didn't even show up. Hey, how about this? Some of these pastors haven't showed up not only in the pandemic, so to speak, they ain't even show up when Katrina and all these other hurricanes came through, and they getting mad money off of these people calling on God. And it ain't just Christianity. You go down the line, the religions where they stand at.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna poop on nobody specifically tonight. I'm just getting down to what's your bedside manner like.
Mm.
Whatever you think is your remedy for my ailment, I'm open to exploring it and figuring out if it's really something I could use to better my situation. But if you just want to sit around poking and prodding on me because you into experimentation,
Mm.
that's not for me.
That's not for me. I'm gonna stay in the control group. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going. You can't even give me the placebo.
Nah, I'm not. I'm no.
You
Fuck
can't
that
give
shit.
me nothing
Hell no.
because you
I
into
don't even want
seeing
to go.
what
I don't
happens.
at all ever.
Yeah, that's my point about this. I don't
I
need
don't
the
even like
vaccine.
going to see. I don't even go to the like. No. Mm-mm.
I promise you, most of the
I don't
stuff we
trust
dealing
them.
with ailment wise, you
If they
see it
can't
change.
find something wrong with you, if you don't have something wrong with you, they're gonna try to find something wrong with you
Well, watch
or
this.
make something wrong with you if they
If they
can.
don't find nothing wrong with you,
They'll give you a
whatever
pill
they
and make sure you get
prescribe
something wrong
you,
with you.
exactly. After a while, even that's the thing. People, vitamins. Vitamins are good. You take the multivitamins that they selling in these drug stores, right? And you would
Yeah,
think, oh, well, this is making me healthier. Huh? Maybe, maybe not.
maybe. The thing
But you
about
don't
supplements
know.
too is like you don't even absorb like very
Well,
much of
that's a
them.
whole nother part of the hustle. But what about the sugar content and how
And
much of it is
it depends on how you take them too. Like something and some things
foods that
need
you need to
other
eat with it?
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah, that's what I'm
absorb
saying.
properly.
But they
Like
ain't
that,
selling
you
you
got to
and
know what
telling
you're
you all
doing.
that.
Yeah, you can't just.
Only thing they telling you is it's a pretty wrapping. It's like $4.99. You
Oh,
get
they don't
two
even
for
want you to
five.
take vitamins. Actually, that's how
I
you
don't
know they
know. Yeah.
actually are good for you because they don't even want you to take them,
Well, it depends. If you
but
talking
they
about
take them.
Flintstones, the Flintstone
Oh
joints is
yeah,
still out.
that's different.
The gummy joints is popping now. Anything that's like candy, you can have that. Let's not get into what sugar is doing to the human body.
Oh, sugar feeds cancer, by the way, in
We
case you
can't
didn't
talk
know.
about that though. You talk about doing something that's going you hurting yourself. That's a personal responsibility. Now you got to change. I don't want to change. I just want you to give me a shot. Give me a
Yeah,
pill. Give me a script. Where did that mentality come from?
because it's learned. It's
Huh?
not their fault. It's learned. It's the
Right.
programming. Like people are programmed.
Right. We are
It's the
programmed.
programming. Like
We
you
also
have to
attack
literally
though.
think like we're programmed like to take our children to the doctor for everything, to trust the doctor for everything. Like that, like what did we talk about in the last show? And I said, stop looking outside self. Like stop. We know you can tap in, but you have to unplug, man. You've got to start shedding some of this other shit that they put on top of you before you can get in tune. Like you have to. And one of the biggest things that you could really honestly do. Actually, I got two things for you. One is shut your fucking TV off. Number two, stop drinking tap water.
Yeah, they talk about it
Those two
calcifying
things are a
the pineal.
huge step in the right direction.
Hey, listen, I'm agreeing with those, and I think really another thing we touched on, like you said, getting in tune, right?
And sugar is
Tune,
definitely a drug, Gus. Absolutely.
getting in tune, right? Getting in tune. So how do
It's
you get in
actually like
tune?
crack. It actually your body has the same reaction to crack cocaine as it has to sugar.
Sugar molecules. The processed sugar. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the getting in tune though, right? So how you get in tune? So mention meditating,
Meditation is huge, especially with
like
nature.
unplugging from everything, like get in tune with the fact that you are a real live living thing, and that
Mm,
you can actually
you
kind of
are
like get more knowledge
consciousness.
and understanding of yourself than any doctor will ever have.
Yes.
And remember, like just like you said earlier, Mel, about they looking at your immune system really as doing the grunt work, the majority of the work of
Yeah.
what got to be done. Now here's the flip side: they also going to ask you all the necessary questions to figuring out whether or not it's happening, which means you gonna have the information the doctor wants before the doctor tells you what you want to hear. Think
Hmm.
about that. Think about that. The universe is not against us. It's these creative ideas that's working against us. And that's not saying that everybody is on a nefarious, diabolical mission to take over the world. But it is documented and clear that vaccines are experimental, and the person that wants you to take a vaccine is they're acknowledging that it's not 100% effective. So I would recommend before you go with something that's not 100% effective, look for the most effective thing. And I will
Right.
argue it's in nature. And
And I will argue that too.
I only say that because that's what we consist of. And that's
This is
going
what
back
we
to my
consist of.
nutrition
Exactly.
training, okay? Not my biological PhD. This is what I'm learning in nutrition training. We are comprised of organic, natural material, and everything
Yeah,
we
like
need
literally at the
comes
basic
from the
level of
earth.
what we are consisted of, like carbon and all
Everything
this shit. We are literally the earth. And even if you do believe in God and you do believe in the Bible, what does it say in the Bible? You picked up
out the
freaking dirt
dirt.
and blew life into it,
Right.
right? Well, here we are. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
so you had to pick up the earth to
when
do
you
that.
get deep into the Bible stuff, I'm more than willing to have conversations with anybody, anytime offline. Please don't hesitate. You know we on the book, the YouTubes, the grams, all that, but not for me.
Yeah, we gotta
All
get out
sick
of here.
with
So,
it. Melody, MF, and Waters. But
motherfucking
just saying
waters.
we could continue any conversation, and I
Yeah, y'all
appreciate
can hit me up. You know where I'm at. You can
the
find me anywhere. I am
dialogue and
Melody Waters.
exchange. James, please let's talk more because I would love to share some stuff with you that I discovered since my post Christianity life or my Christian experience. I got some stuff that had basically solidified my reasons for not going back to church. So
Yeah,
we
I
could get
have
into that
lots
in
of
another
things that I
episode.
can talk about too because I have absolutely studied religions and I have myself practiced a couple of different religions, and I have done a lot of knowledge searching and come to a lot of conclusions, and there's just a knowing that you have inside of you. So I don't know. I'm definitely willing to talk about that type of stuff. And I think we should have a show on it, actually, too sick. We should talk about
Oh yeah,
spirituality and
oh yeah, it's
because I'm
coming.
open to everybody's opinions. Honestly, how I believe in my life and how I feel and how what I that's me. This is my life. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to live your own life. You have to know, whatever you know for yourself. But I have been down a journey. So I know for myself.
Right, James. I see what you said. It is bigger than the Bible, and I'm with you, bro. And like I said, let's link and let's
Peace
build
is
because
everything.
when we talk about,
Love
but
is
not
my
for me.
religion.
This is the space for you getting it off your chest. This is the
Yeah.
space for you to. You might hear something we say. You might not. That ain't for me.
And
Not
that's
for me.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah, we can talk about it because
That's
I want
okay.
to.
Because
Because maybe
and we want to know what's been not for you. Thanks, sick.
yeah,
Because
like
we
that's
want
what
to know
we
what's been not
doing.
for
That's
you.
what
So
this is
tell us,
about.
you guys, so we can
Because
talk
this is the
about what's
one
been
thing
not
that's
for you.
distinct here. We not pushing nothing on nobody. We presenting information. Whereas the contrary, you could tell what somebody's telling you can't think different from us. You're not
Mm,
allowed to have a different perspective.
I
That's
prefer
not our
for
position. We give place for people to
to
talk.
be
We actually
free.
gonna have some more folks on as guests and have some debate conversation stuff going on. I mean, listen, this is just the beginning. We appreciate y'all being here with us at this stage as we continue to evolve and grow. Really
Absolutely,
do.
man. Thank you guys so much for being here this week with us. Come back. Sorry it was a little late this week. We will definitely be back next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bad time, same bad channel right here. But not for me Mondays, y'all. So, hey, let us know what you guys want to talk about. If there's something that's been not for you, we're definitely down to listen. And Sick and I will chop up about pretty much anything. So,
Facts.
so all right, y'all. Have a great week. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you guys.
Peace.
Stay dangerous.